Hello world, it's Birdo5, Qapla. Welcome to Deep Space Nine Wednesday, and yes, we're a little early today because, again, we're going to try this again after the stream at 5:30 p.m. Eastern today. I should be appearing on Orville Nation stream live, where we're going to be talking about the Orville. So, the link for that stream is going to be in the chat. So we need to get through this episode quickly today. It's 4:09 now. My hope is we are done with this episode by 5:09. So in just a few minutes, we're going to get started. So I don't know that I'm going to be able to read all the chats today, guys. Zethon was first, a couple of minutes early. Yosef was second, as his wife prefers. Actor says a bird of prey is never late. It's your clock's fault. I did tell people I was going to start by 4, and I did start about 7 minutes late. Cinnabon Bunny says hello. Derek McManus says not first. Welcome, guys. Thomas Potts, I don't know, Thomas. Somebody deleted your messages. I don't know what happens. Mark Andy says not 37th, which is true. Mike Richards says greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Oh, mighty bird. Well, thank you, Mike Richards. Uncle Remus says, hail Corona, oh pray. Shronmore says, greetings, Birdo Prey, Mama Prey, and fellow nerds. Greetings, Shronmore. Joe Lau says, what is this? Lol. It's Deep Space Nine Wednesday. Josh Street says, Chancellor Martok and Gowron have spoken. Death to Kuroga and Turdistan. I have not heard of that. Mark Andy says, may Mama Prey outlive us all. Well, she would be very, very upset if she outlives me. But if we both go out at the same time, due to the sweet asteroid meteor of death or something, that'd be fine with me. Actor says the best part of this stream is the countdown. Well, then I'm sorry to say the best part is over. Thomas says Bird of Prey is a red shirt. I am today. This is true. Josh Street says no sound. When is he going to stop pulling a bird of prey? There is sound. I heard it myself. Shromore says greetings to Sassy. Chaser of Indorians, eater of Packlid, stalker of Klingons, defiler of Vulcans, and the scourge of Cardassia. She's outside. And Aru! Yes, Sassy. Sassy's outside. Look, Joe Lau says good morning, Bird and family. Good morning, Joe. Again. Thomas says, so he's going to ignore us like Anti-Trigger does. Well, in a few minutes I am. Josh Reed says, Bird of Prey, you know we wouldn't let you leave early. Well, it's not going to be an option, possibly. So, today's episode, for those who are here, it is Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 2, Episode 25, Tribunal. So get your episode ready. This is a Miles O'Brien episode. If you don't have your own copy, you can get it on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, on CBS All Access, and on Hulu. Or if you have your own DVD copy, even better. And if you don't have your own copy, you can come to the Bird of Prey 5 screening room by going to birdofprey5.com and scrolling down to the link that says BOP5 screening room. You can watch it along with me. It's my copy. It'd be as if you were here in my living room, but because we are practicing social distancing, you're not going to get the virus. So, win-win. And if you can't do that, then as a very last resort in the bottom right corner, in that big black empty box, there will be screenshots of the episode every 5 seconds or so, so you'll have some idea of what's going on. Josh reads Bird of Prey. When did Dear Bob turn into MFK? That was yesterday. That's not going to happen again. I'll be honest. If I get those during real Dear Bops, more than one or two, I'm just going to delete them. Because Dear Bop is not an MFK stream. Cinnabon says, Bird of Prey, why did you post a link to your own stream? Did I? If I did, that's... okay. Hold on. Here is the link. Here is the link to Orville Nation stream. My bad. I'm going to take your word for it, Cinnabon. But that's the link to Orville Nation stream. That will be 5:30 p.m. Eastern today, so less than an hour and a half. Less than an hour and a half from now. An hour and 15 minutes. So we really got to get started, guys. Not Ryan Dodger says, I think Anti-Tracker didn't like the question from Dear Bop yesterday, so he didn't even bother putting it into an intro. Well, you can't do an intro when he used StreamYard yesterday, so you can't use an intro with that. McClunky, hey Bubblegum Joe, how'd you get a whole space station up your nose? Josh reads his Bird of Prey, you might have the several left from yesterday. Well, if we do, I'll clear those out. I will clear those out. Okay, guys, so we're actually going to get started. I know we are only 7 minutes into the stream, but we got to get the show on the road. So one last time, if you want to follow along and you don't have your own copy, Season 2, Episode 25, Tribunal, you can go to birdofprey5.com right now, leave the YouTube window open, and click on the BOP5 screening room. And this is only available to people watching this live. If you're watching this tomorrow or the next day or even 4 hours from now, the screening room's not going to help. It's only active when this stream is live. So hopefully you've procured your own copy if you're not watching this live. Okay, so I'm going to mute the sound from my computer. So all you hear is the microphone. And let's see, we're going to get it ready over here. And we're going to get it ready over here. Okay. So I'm going to hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. The station opens. We got O'Brien talking to Dax. O'Brien's out of uniform. He's teaching Dax what she needs to do. Dax is going to care for the secondary fusion core like it was her own child. And Kira says, Chief, we are perfectly capable of running this station by ourselves. I don't think you are, Kira. Kira's like, get out of our hair. And Dax says, Miles, have a good time. And he says, thanks. He feels relaxed already. He doesn't. He doesn't. And Cisco comes out and asks, is he gone yet? Oh, and O'Brien came back up. He says, O'Brien, you're on leave. Disembark the station. He stopped the elevator and came back up just to talk to Cisco. So Thomas... Oh. So O'Brien accidentally hit into somebody that he recognizes. Oh, he served with somebody on the Rutledge. This guy's been out of Starfleet 8 years. He settled on the Cardassian side of the demilitarized zone. As he runs a mining thing. He says after what we went through in the border wars, he doesn't know how he can live there. He says, you were there at Setlik 3. But his wife is waiting. Okay, so his friend's coming back for another supply pickup in a month or two. Thomas Potts says, Bird of Prey, if I watch it before the stream, does it work? No, it does not. It's only during the stream that it's actually watchable. Not before nor after. Well, isn't that convenient? He got a recording of Miles O'Brien saying, Miles O'Brien, we served together on the Rutledge. Like if this guy had come to the station and not met and not met Miles O'Brien, what would have happened? Yes, that is an 80s porn stash if I've ever seen one. What's it say? He probably was a cop. Epic Beards' wait, restart. It isn't 5 p.m. yet. Too early. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, Epic. We're starting early because it has to be done. We got to be done by 5:15, the latest. Because I'm going to be on the Orville Nation. Orville Nation at 5:30 Eastern. No, and Kira and Dax are not kissing yet. JPs. I don't think they're ever kissing. Actually, Ezri and Kira kiss in the Mirror Universe. It's not as it's not as physical as Dax and her former wife or husband, whatever she was. It's not an all-women stream. It's just called Power Women Wednesday. But there's going to be 3 dudes there. Including me. Josh Street says, quick, throw a beagle into Bird of Prey's wheelchair wheels. What? It's horrible. Oh, Keiko wants to know where's the holocam is. And says, weren't you supposed to bring the holocam? Last night when they were going over the list in bed. Said, you talked to her for half an hour. There must have been someone else in bed with them. Keiko is way too excited. He's reading technical update manuals. Number 1 Sci-Fi's is Bird of Prey. I think I gave him the Bird of Prey flu. I don't think that's possible, number 1 Sci-Fi. So Brian's wondering if they should pick up Molly. He said we could swing by, pick up the holocam and Molly and only lose half a day. Or You just replicate a holocam. I'm not wearing an Alexa sundress. I don't know. Keiko's too happy with the music choice. JP says, I would read technical manuals if my wife looked like the O'Briens as well. Wow. Poor Keiko. Oh, she's an engineer. Do something about it. Uh-oh, a vessel's approaching. Cardassian patrol ship. Hideki class. Keiko's never happy, says not Ryan Johnson. O'Brien puts the shields up. And this vessel looks no bigger than the runabout showing up. Keiko can't contact the station. Subspace communications are being jammed. State your business. Says Mr. O'Brien, we've spoken before. Shut down your drive and come to a full stop. We're beaming an inspection team on board. O'Brien's like, we're nowhere near the border. You got no authority here. It's like, we'll worry about authority later. Either comply or we'll take action. In 10 seconds, and the computer notes that they locked on photon torpedoes. And so they let him in, and now there's 3 Cardassians coming in with orders to arrest O'Brien. You have the right to refuse to answer questions, but refusing will be taken as a sign of guilt. So you deny all knowledge of the crime. He's like, well, how am I supposed to know? How am I supposed to deny the crime if you don't know what you're talking about? Keiko's going off about rights. She has rights because they're Federation citizens. He demands to speak to his commander. So the Cardassian says that they'll contact his commander and they'll see that the wife has returned safely to the station. And O'Brien's like, I'm not going anywhere with you. He punches him, but the Cardassian stuns him with a Cardassian phaser, and then they beam away. And then one Cardassian stays behind to hold Keiko. And stop her from crying. I mean, was the Cardassian go back with her on the runabout? How does the runabout get back to Deep Space Nine? Peter Quinn says, hey, Bird of Prey and all. It's been the longest week in my life, and it's only Wednesday. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Peter. Number 1 Sci-Fi says, hack, Bird of Prey. I feel terrible. I'm sorry about that too, number 1. So Brian's being told to remove his clothes. He's saying his name and his rank. He's saying he's a Federation citizen. And now his clothes are being torn off of him. There's 4 lights, O'Brien. Just remember, 4 lights. Now Ryan Johnson's Bird of Prey. I think Keiko is part Cardassian. That's why she's never happy. He's on the floor. He's still talking about his name and rank. He's a citizen of the Federation. They're processing him. Of course, for some reason, this retina scan is painful rather than just taking a picture of his retina. I mean, just seeing a chair like this makes you realize how much they didn't spend on Star Trek Picard. So they gave him a shot, I guess, to calm him down. He's not fighting as much. They cut pieces of his hair off. What if he was bald? What if he was as bald as Picard? What would they do? And now they just pull out a tooth. I know some people say, oh, this is as gruesome as Icha. But no, because you don't actually see it being pulled out. You just see them put it in his mouth and then come out with a tooth. Now he's being irradiated. I don't know. Decontaminated. God only knows what. He's naked. Some Cardassian woman comes in. She sees his head is all bruised. Said, oh, you were told not to be harmed. And they said they had to be restrained and to bring him his clothing. So they just drop it on his lap. He's not actually dressed. The woman is playing good cop. She's apologizing. She's the chief Archon. She wants to stay here to be as comfortable as possible. His trial starts in 2 days. He's been assigned some public conservator. His lawyer. He's the best consul in all of Cardassia. He says, what do I need a lawyer for? What am I charged with? Who's accusing me? He says, all in good time. Locks him in a prison cell. Gives him some clothes. Could be worse. He could be in the mines. The Starfleet has ordered the Enterprise and 2 other ships to the border. Keiko's like, in the meantime, my husband's being violated. Every shred of his humanity is being violated. Isn't it true? Don't lie to me. And Odo says it is standard procedure for Cardassians to torture prisoners. She's correct. She says, you don't know how many times that Miles spoke to her about this. What the Cardassians did to the prisoners at Seklik 3. It scared him. She's like, we can't leave him there. And Cisco's like, we don't even know where he's being held. Or he's being held at the central prison, according to what they said. Sassy. Okay. So the Archon is calling.
It's okay. It's okay.
Mukbar.
Good. Thank you.
So Cisco wants to talk to him. They say no. I'll knock the camera off, Mama. Pray when you want to go by. Okay, I knocked the camera. You can go by. Or whatever. You want me to put it back on?
No, I want to go there. You take close.
Okay. So he wants to know what the charges are. She's like, the charge will be announced when the trial begins, as is customary for Cardassian prudence, jurisprudence. And Keiko's like, how can we prepare for the trial if we don't know the charges? She's like, there's nothing to prepare. He's already been determined guilty. The trial will reveal how his guilt was proven. Peter Quinn says a friend of mine, local, tested positive for COVID-19, and she's on oxygen at home. I am sorry to hear that, Peter Quinn. So Odo wants to know about his Nestor. And Nestor is an advisor to the Defender. So Odo volunteers to serve as a Nestor. And she says, that's not possible. And Nestor has to be an officer of the court. And Odo says, I am an officer of the court. Chief of Security Odo. He served Gul Dukat. Check his credentials. He was designated an officer of the Cardassian court 4 years ago in order to testify in criminal cases. And she's like, fuck. Say, okay, you can accompany Mrs. O'Brien And so he asks, what's the penalty? And she says his execution is scheduled for next Tuesday. And Keiko's like, how can you schedule an execution before there's even a trial? And she's like, the Archon's like, we believe in swift justice. So Commander Sisko wants a complete security sweep of the station. So Kira's like that Chief O'Brien's attitude to Cardassians is hardly a secret. What if he actually did do something? Sisko's like, then we need to know that too. Hector, says Bert. Oh, I'm back, Hector. I'm back. They did not fly the coop. Damn spoonheads, indeed. So his lawyer finally comes. He's Conservator Kovac. O'Brien says, I've ever been told I've been charged and convicted and sentenced. What does he need with a lawyer? Says the role of conservator is key function in their courts. He's here to concede the wisdom of the state.
There's no name, nothing. Just
54.5 Axis Radio says, greetings, young Garogan leader. Cardassians have many interesting qualities. Multigun is a bird. How's it going? It's going not too bad, Multigun man. Not too bad. Good to see you here. Hope you're doing good. So Brian wants to know what he's being charged with. He's like, no need to worry about it. And he says, this is insane. He's like, none of it matters in the long run. Whatever you've done, whatever you've been charged with. So Brian's like, well, what does matter? He says the trial is to demonstrate the futility of behavior contrary to order. Justice will be done. Everybody's lives will be reinforced. All crimes are solved. All criminals are punished. All outcomes are happy. Even the poorest subjects can walk the streets in perfect safety in the dead of night. Like you're only one man, but your conviction will be an experience for millions. The trial begins tomorrow. Do you have any questions? O'Brien says, I'm not guilty of any crime. And he holds the entire procedure with nothing but contempt. It's like, maintain that level of arrogance in the courtroom and it should all go well. Oh, he does have one question. Have you ever won a case? And the lawyer's like, winning's not everything. Peter Quinn says she sent a video out. She's very good spirits as usual, but she was deemed one of the lower risk people. Well, I mean, being on oxygen isn't particularly terrible. If, we'll see how she's doing otherwise, Peter Quinn, but I mean, people can be put on oxygen for precautionary measures. It's not a death sentence by any means. That there shows people how serious it is. Multigun Man says, Bird of Prey, this episode is an exact copy of the Kurdistani legal system. So, apparently a bunch of photon torpedoes are missing or something. And O'Brien was in there just minutes before they left. The computer confirmed his voice print ID, let him in. As soon as the door opened, some type of field device froze all the sensors. Bashir says, doesn't make sense. What would they do with? What would he do with photon warheads? And Kira says, give them to the Marquis. The Marquis stole launchers but no warheads 2 weeks ago. Bashir said, so you're suggesting that Miles O'Brien took his wife on a romantic excursion to deliver warheads to the Marquis? He doesn't believe it. And so Dax says if they were in a runabout, how did the Cardassians find out? And Cisco wants to know who the other guy is. The guy waiting to receive the warheads. Peter Quinn says not everyone will get oxygen though. No, I understand not everyone needs oxygen. Just saying that oxygen in and of itself is not indicative of needing critical care. I don't know how serious she is, Peter. If she is in serious condition, certainly, even more worrisome. But oxygen itself not terrible. So Odo shows up. So Cardassians take a molar at age 10 usually. And so O'Brien asks if Keiko's all right, and Odo says Keiko came with her. Keiko's going to be at the trial tomorrow, Odo says. The Cardassians always invite family to trials and executions, so the public can see them weep. O'Brien doesn't want her there. Says the lawyer's already told him it's all over but the execution. And he doesn't even know what he's charged with. O'Brien says they haven't told him, but they have an idea. Have you ever had any dealings with the Maquis? He's like, dealings? It's like, do you know anybody in the Maquis? O'Brien says, no. Ever supplied any of them with weapons? And he says, no. Are you here to interrogate me? So Commander Cisco informed Odo 24 photon warheads are missing from the station, and O'Brien and Odo says that they were in the runabout. So O'Brien says he knows nothing about them. He asks, were you in weapons locker 4? And he says, but the log says you were there. Your voice print was there. He says, my voice? I don't know. Well, it's a deep fake. So O'Brien meant Odo doesn't know him very well. But he's saying he's been in service to the Federation, Starfleet, his entire adult life. No one's ever questioned his loyalty before. No one in his entire life has ever had cause to ask if he's a criminal. Until now. He took an oath to defend the Federation. He doesn't steal from them. He doesn't lie to them. He's no angel. He tries to live every day as the best human being he knows how to be. He needs his little girl to wake up and see a man she can respect. And until now, she always could. So Odo saying, being accused of a crime is not a disgrace. Well, it kind of is. Some of the great figures of history have shared the honor. Brian says he didn't figure on dying a martyr. Odo says not all of them were martyrs, not all of them died. Some were just innocent like you. So Odo says he managed to get named to the defense team. The Keiko will be there too, but you won't be weeping. Peter Quinn says even if they need a bird of prey, it's a pneumonia type virus. I understand it's a respiratory virus. I understand that. Hashtag free auntie. Huh. So Dax is seeing that the voice modulation patterns don't match up. So it's his voice, but it was reconstructed. Maybe you should have checked that before you said it was his voice. They narrowed the suspect down to 12 people who live in the demilitarized zone. And of course, it's Mustache Man. Maybe the computer shouldn't use a voice print if it's that easy to get in. So he's been found guilty of aiding and abetting seditious acts against the state. The sentence is death. Let the trial begin. He's ready to face his judgment, so he's allowed to enter. There was even more light here. There's more light here than in the trial for mutiny in Discovery. So the Archon says that he can spare his trial. He can spare his family by confessing now. And O'Brien says no thanks. So the Nestor and Mrs. O'Brien may enter. She says this court recognizes the disgrace has brought upon you and as prescribed in the Cardassian articles of jurisprudence. We offer you the opportunity to disassociate from his actions by testifying against them. She says, I have no inkling to testify against him. So Odo asks for the ability to confer with the attorney, and she says this is the first time you're in here. You do not have the ability to address the court. She says all of Cardassia is watching. You should have brushed up on this before you started, but to make it quick. And the lawyer says that he's only a year away from retirement. And the guy's like, new evidence? Odo says, no, if he's been accused of stealing warheads, then he can produce that somebody reproduced his voice. He says you can't produce evidence now, it's too late. And he's like, you flatter me. People want justice, not chaos. They will have no part of this. So Odo again says, may I address the court? And she says, I just said you couldn't. So Odo says, but manipulated. There's new evidence that proves his innocence. She's like, you're out of order. And she said, wouldn't you want us to follow your rules if we were in your court? And Odo says, which brings me to another point. I moved for a change of venue. This happened in a Bajoran station. And the lawyer's like, I apologize for this. I asked to be removed from the case. And she's like, no, shut down, shut up. Odo regrets he has no teeth to offer their Bureau of Identification. She's like, new evidence. She fully expected the Federation to come up with remarkable new evidence. He's sure that the experts can create all sorts of experts that may work in your courts. Not here, buddy. No new evidence considered. She bangs on her gavel or whatever she's got. Call the first witness. Sassy, you're being called to testify. Point to the person who took your jerky. Let it be seen that she is pointing to the floor. No. So they found the old friend from the Rutledge. She's like, he has a wife and a 5-year-old daughter. Peter says, you took the jerky. So Sisko says, if you think we're worried you're going to turn you over to the Cardassians, we won't. And he's like, I'm not worried. I haven't done anything wrong. So Sisko says, hold him for further questioning. So Bashir comes into, I don't know if it's his room or a sick bay. He tries to turn on the lights, and the lights won't turn on. Somebody says, don't turn around, Doctor. Says you have a man in custody suspected of arranging stolen of warheads. This person saying, I'm here to tell you he's not one of us. So this guy's from the Marquis. So Bashir says, why should I believe you? He says he knows nothing about the theft. This man's not one of us. That's all he can tell him. And then the guy left. Sci-Fi Nation says Leprechaun will pray was the entry. Josh Reed says Odo was right. It happened on Bajoran Station. And the Cardis took miles from a ship in a Bajor station. Absolutely. There's like, how many more people must die before the situation becomes clear? So according to reliable sources, the Marquis arranged the theft. Odo objects, even though he's not allowed to. Says Gulavec has tied the Marquis to this by quoting reliable sources, but Gulavec is citing national security. You can't tell him. And so Odo wants to know, how did you know that the photon torpedoes were in the runabout? And he says, yeah, reliable sources. So the Archon says, this has already been the longest trial in Cardassian history. Let's speed things up. So the lawyer's going to try to be as brief as possible. So Bashir is going to give this guy a physical exam. He left his wife 8 years ago. He hasn't talked to his parents in 8 years. And the same time he was discharged from Starfleet. All of this seemed to happen shortly after Sector 3. Oh my God! That man's a Cardassian! So Keiko and O'Brien are getting a chance to talk alone. Miles is telling Keiko he wants her to leave, not to give them the satisfaction of her being there. Excuse me. The Archon is slowly walking. Court will resume. The offender will step forward and testify. O'Brien says he's got nothing to say. And she says under Cardassian law, he's compelled to testify. Sorry about that. So O'Brien said he's never heard of a court showing mercy, and the lawyer's like, think of the children. Allow them see a glimmer of enlightenment as the offender realizes that the end is near. Let him use his last breath to show remorse. So she asks Odo if she wishes to advise the defendant. Odo says no. So he asks O'Brien if he was abused as a child. Were his parents especially abusive? Did he hate them? And O'Brien's like, no, I love my parents. Spousal abuse, perhaps. Was the wife causing her severe psychological distress? And O'Brien's like, my wife is the most wonderful, supportive person he's ever known. He's just trying to figure out how a fine man like him could turn into a criminal. Says, perhaps you can help. And O'Brien's like, no, I can't because I'm not a criminal. And he's like, well, I tried. The Archon says, tell me, Mr. O'Brien, how many Cardassians have you killed? And he says, none since the war. She's like, including the war, how many Cardassians did you kill? So Odo says, what relevance is this? She says his past criminal record is very much relevant. Those weren't criminal records. O'Brien says he's not sure. She says, that many. He says, it's war, both sides did things they had to do. Says, do you have a warm place for Cardassian neighbors in his heart? Or is he deeply prejudiced against Cardassians? Do you not in fact hate Cardassians? Have you not publicly stated your opposition to the treaty? Because I quote, the bloody Cardis can't be trusted, aye. He declines to answer. She says, you can't decline to answer. Answer the question. Is it an accurate quote? It is an accurate quote. So the defense attorney is saying it seems like his guilt has been clearly established, and he concedes the verdict. And O'Brien refuses to concede. So Conservator Colvitz has done a wonderful job, she says. And now the door opens, and Cisco and Mustache Dude walk in. He objects. She tells him to sit down. Peters is Bird of Prey. That was a great Sean Connery Irish accent. Bed alarm. Second time today the bed alarm's going off. She said, never let it be said there's no room in the system for compassion. She senses Mr. O'Brien, a man with strong family ties, a sense of rehabilitation. She's pleased in the spirit of furthering Cardassian Federation relations. She's going to set aside a verdict and release Mr. O'Brien into the custody of his commander, Benjamin Sisko. So the conservator is asking Odo what happened. Odo says, you won. He says, they'll kill me. They'll kill me. So just walking in with the mustache dude was enough. So the Marquis told him about Boone. Boone was missing his first molar. It was confirmed he was Cardassian, surgically altered 8 years ago to replace the real guy at Seklik 3. He was killed in detention. His ex-wife told us she came back from a different man. Why did they want to frame Miles? He says it was never about Miles. It was just to discredit the Federation. Peter Quinn says, is that a red or yellow alert, Bird of Prey? That'd be a yellow alert. Josh Reed says, so nowhere I've seen Karogan justice system, Bird of Prey took the Cardassian justice system for Karoga. Peter Quinn says, bollocks, government UK. Some of the team has to self-isolate. They're still going to drop them off at the lagoon. And O'Brien's like, we've got no bags. He hasn't anything to eat. No holocam. And Keiko says, perfect. And they go all lovey-dovey. So O'Brien almost killed, almost executed, while in Cardassian custody, tortured, lost a tooth. And a couple of days later, it's vacation time. You still get to go on vacation with your wife. All lovey-dovey. Wow, didn't that get resolved very quickly? I mean, that seemed even resolved quickly, even for a Star Trek episode. I gotta be honest. I tend to like the episodes with Miles. They're good episodes, but this O'Brien Must Suffer episode, I don't know. I don't know about it. It seemed like it resolved way too quickly and way too easily. What do you guys think? Boris Johnson has been exposed. And Peter Quinn is laughing. Well, I wouldn't laugh about it, Peter, anybody being exposed. But here's a quick commercial. We'll be right back. Sorry there's no sound, guys. I do have to go because I got to get ready for the next stream. I'll talk to you guys later. Remember, I'm going to be on Orville Nation stream in just under a half hour. I'll see you guys there. Take care.